Day has finally arrived. Couple of weeks of research on eBay and Googling and everything, and finally came up with an MPPT controller that I'm going to be using in my Passport camper. I got two 130 watt panels, and this was a really difficult decision. I mean, let me kind of explain to you. Sorry about the hummingbird here. I'm just going to kind of leave him there. This was a difficult decision. One of the things that was important to me is I need to be able to see this controller remotely. I'm using the pure sine converter from Harbor Freight, which is 4,000 watts. It is pure sine. I do have the remote connected into the camper, so I could turn it on and off remotely. And one of the things that I wanted to do was make this camper more self-sufficient. So researching these controllers is, for a small installation, is a pretty tough thing to do. I mean, here's where I first went, and I'll kind of give you an idea of what I was looking at. So this unit claims it's 60 amps. It is Bluetooth capable. As you can see, it's fairly cheap. I mean, this is only maybe a 1/16. They call this their heat sink, which, I mean, you know, when you add colors and stuff like that, I don't care about pretty. I want functionality and I want performance. One of the things and one of the reasons why I'm not going to be using this controller, I don't believe this is MPPT at all. I think this is a PWM controller. And, you know, the catchphrase for eBay sellers is basically, you know, MPPT, but this isn't. This is a PWM controller. I mean, it doesn't even have thermal sensing. I use flooded lead acid batteries. I do not want to use lithium ion in my camper. They're just too dangerous for this type of use. I mean, yes, I know they've come a long way, but flooded lead acid, and I'm pretty much not going to burn down, you know. I do have a 500 amp breaker that's going to be tied in. I'm using 0 cable, so it's real thick. It's almost a 1/2 inch. And I just felt safer with the flooded lead acid. Yes, I can go AGM as well, but that could be a later date. I mean, I used 2 Group 31s, so I got plenty of power to keep this going for 2, 3, 4 hours without any trouble. So I'm not too concerned about that. One of the things that turned me off about this particular controller was the software. A, it's not found on the Play Store. B, I mean, the seller was really, you know, helpful, but I don't know if that's exactly everything with this controller. I mean, you know, I don't like to install from unknown sources. I got an unknown seller from wherever telling me, oh, the software's fine, there's no problems with it, but, you know, I don't know about that. I'm a little sketchy. If I have to go outside the Play Store, there's a reason for it. So I'm not sending it back. I'm not going to ding them. They were very nice and answered all my questions. However, I'm not going to be using this and its software. It's just, yeah, too sketchy. That's 60 amps. Look at the size of this box. Now, this is the Power Queen. I did a lot of research. 30 amps. Heatsink is heavy on it. It does have an app that is available on the Play Store. It's Power Queen MPPT, not just Power Queen. If you search it that way, you'll get a totally different app. Power Queen MPPT is the one you want for this controller. This box weighed 6 pounds when I got it. The manufacturer had it shipped to me. I bought it Power Queen EU, which is out of Canada, I'm assuming. And they were very helpful. Answered all my questions. We'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, we're just going to do the unboxing. So it was sealed. I have broken the seal just to take a quick look, but this is how it showed up. I put it on the scale, 6 pounds, and let's open it up and see what we get. So right off the top, we're going to have a booklet with all the information on the booklet. The app is available on the Marketplace Play Store, so I don't have to worry about that as much as I did with unknown server with funny URLs that are letters and numbers, and yeah, it can disappear tomorrow. It's almost like tiny URL. So these guys actually have an app. Comes with a quick installation guide, and look at the size difference between this and that. 1, 2, 3, 4 times the size of this controller, and this claims it's MPPT. I mean, look at the heatsink on this. We're just going to pull it out, and I'll go through a couple of things. It is heavy. It is a heavy, heavy unit here, so a little bit of struggle to get it out of here. But yeah, now look at the difference in the heatsink, if you could see that as compared to that. Okay, obviously a much bigger unit. So in your opinion, what do you think is MPPT? This guy here, which I believe is PWM, or extra weight 6 pounds here? You know, there's a lot more circuitry in here. I could almost guarantee that just by the weight alone. Granted, this aluminum heatsink probably weighs a pound or so, but nothing like this other controller. So let's go ahead and we're just going to open it up, take a quick look. Now, one of the things that I researched about this, because I'm using flooded lead acid, is Vevor could not and did not answer one question, the only question that I posted on their website, which I never got a response to. They lost the sale because of that. They did have a 50 amp charge controller. Again, I'm only running 260 watts of solar. I'm about 20 amps. So 30 amps is well over and above what I need. This is rated for, I think, 400 watts. So I'm below that, no problem at all. But the guys over at Vevor just could not answer a simple question. So one of the most important things to me was, does it come with a thermal sensor? I mean, I'm running flooded lead acid, and yes, it does, and it plugs right into the side. Also, what's nice about this particular unit is it does have RS-485. So if I want to do something here later on, I can. One thing that I did do is I messaged the manufacturer, could you create an app for Android television? So 30 amps isn't big enough for a house. Let's face it, we're going to be using it in RVs. That's its designation, boats and RVs, 30 amps. Maybe a car, maybe a van, maybe a truck. But one of the things that I asked specifically was, can you make the app in and available on the Android TV side of things? So when we're watching television in the middle of the night, I don't have to go out, get my phone that's sitting in the other side of the camper or next to my bed maybe, and I could just literally pop open the app on my Android television, you know, just take a look at the battery voltage, the charge status. Really at night, you're going to be looking at the status of the batteries, and just give me a, you know, an idea. I can do that off of the inverter itself, but I got to go outside to do that. So this would make it really easy to just go ahead and take a look and see what I'm using for power and how much longer I could estimate my battery is going to last. In the daytime, I could just flip a channel if we're sitting there watching TV and it's charging the solar, and I could see the status of everything right on the television. Then I can go right back to my programs that I'm watching, and it doesn't become an inconvenience. I know it's easy to take out the phone, but you know what? Sometimes you just don't want to do that. I want the option. And if I forget my phone, I still want the option. So that's pretty much everything in the box. You get a bracket set up here. You do get the temperature sensor. It is Bluetooth, so Bluetooth is built into that. I think it says it on here somewhere, but it might not. It might say it in the instructions, but it is Bluetooth. I'd show you the app, but I'm actually recording this video with the phone. So I'll tell you, for under 100 bucks, this was $40. This was $89. The shipping was free. Which would you prefer? Fake, MPPT, PWM? Yeah, in some cases this is a good option if you have a small system, sure. But this is going to give you more versatility, and it's also going to give you a good app. You're not going to have to worry about downloading something that's going to be watching your finances all the time, your banking, whatever you're browsing on the internet. So at least I got the protection of the Play Store with this guy here. And again, not too many reviews on this. It's going to get hooked up in the next day or so, so I will do an operational review where you could actually see it in operation, see some of the parameters on it, and we'll go from there. Wiring capabilities here, it looks like it's going to take 8 gauge. It might be a hard press past 8 gauge here. But again, 20 amps, 8 gauge, short as possible to the battery. Which for me is going to actually be off the inverter because the cables to the battery from the inverter are within 2 feet. So this is going to literally sit in a bracket, and then it's going to be facing up so the heat rises. And then the cables are only going to be about 1.5 feet to the mains. So the mains at 1.5 feet, I'm not going to have a lot of loss using 8 gauge pure copper. And the rest of it is, you know, simply the panel and load. I'm not going to be using it for load because the inverter is going to take more than 30 amps at its full 4,000. So I could put a light on this if I want. I was thinking even maybe a night light for outside the camper where when it's, you know, real dark, it pops on an LED around the area where you step up. Just so you have some step and you don't have to go flipping on all the lights on the outside of the camper, but you could have some step lights that come on at dusk. So that was my plan for that. Maybe use an amp off of this side, if that. It's LED, probably milliamps. But that's the plan. The RS-485 I did a little research on. You can hook up different things to this. I could hook it up to a Windows computer. That's another plus for this unit here. It does support Windows. So once that's installed and we can start doing some testing on this, I'll get back to you. In the meantime, that's the unboxing. This is the comparison between the cheap and $40 more is what it gets you. Real versus fake. All right, guys, take care. See you soon.